Joel Embiid was listed as questionable with left knee soreness prior to this matchup, but attended Sixers shoot-around, returned to the lineup to take on the LA Clippers Tuesday night, and hot early on. Doesn't look like he missed a step.
Yeah, Chrissy, he didn't look questionable tonight. He came out early, inside, outside, getting it done.
He had 19 points in the first half alone. Get it done, like you said, inside and out. The Sixers would lead the way 76-58 at halftime, but things would get physical here. First, we'll call it some friendly fire. Bradley misses, going for the rebound. Simmons elbowing Embiid in the face. He was not happy there.
Ooh, I don't think I'd be happy either, but appreciate both guys going after it, and the fact that Embiid was able to stay in bounds and get that ball to his teammate also getting hit is pretty impressive.
But then the two teams would get into it. Patrick Beverley called for the foul on Embiid here, and Embiid shoves him in the, well, that's the neck.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay.
Now, both of those guys would be called for technicals.
I believe so.
These two teams, they just don't like each other.
That's not. I didn't know this was a big rivalry.
It is now. Jimmy Butler to Mike Muscala for three, but after the play, that's Butler and Avery Bradley getting into it.
He's going for a loose ball right there, and I guess Bradley pushes and Butler pushes back.
Both of these guys would be ejected after this play.
Kind of fueled some momentum there for the Clippers and coming back.
That it did. Montrezl Harrell leading an LA comeback here off the Tobias Harris miss. He's there for the tip-in, then Danilo Gallinari finds him for the slam.
But there's no quit in them. Fought hard to get back in the game, as you said, Kristen.
No quit in Harrell either. He's blocked inside, but gets it back. Gets the layup to go plus the foul. Now he'd make that free throw. That would cut their deficit. But not quite enough as the Sixers would close it out. Embiid pulling up for the jumper here. And Ben Simmons on the inbounds. Oh, look at this. Throws it off Sindarius Thornwell's back. Then dunks it. I mean, come on.
Smart play. Turn your back to the offensive player, and great read and finish.
That happened to me once in college.
Uh-oh.
You know what's funny is I didn't have to say that. I don't know why I did. I wish I could go back to the moment that people didn't know that.
We appreciate that you did. Thank you.
Well, the Sixers improved to 24-14 with the win over the Clippers, as well as 2-2 on this 5-game road trip. But here's what Coach Brett Brown had to say about the somewhat, well, we'll call it chippy play down the stretch.
Just NBA athletes playing, you know, it happens. We miss Jimmy for sure. I haven't seen the altercation in relation to how it was instigated. Well, I will see that, but it's just part of our league, part of playing.
He wasn't wrong. The very physical play. You know, Gallinari there, that was the flagrant one. Then, well, he'd get his from Landry Shamet on Gallo. Then Embiid, Patrick Beverley, each with technicals there. Jimmy Butler, Avery Bradley, in the shoving match, technicals and ejections in both. How difficult is it to keep your composure in games that get so physical down the stretch?
It can be very difficult. First of all, it felt like a late 80s playoff game.
Right.
but,
Nice.
But you know what? Philadelphia, give them credit. They kept their composure. Clippers made a run at them after Butler was kicked out of the game. But it is tough, and it gets physical, it gets chippy, and you lose your composure, and that happens. But, you know, Sixers took care of business, got a good win on the road against a very quality Clippers team.
Well, after the break, an historic night for Yusuf Nurkic in Sacramento as the Blazers stormed back in Sacramento. To 109, and they'd go on to win it 122-116. Now, this is the game of the day, Wednesday at 4 Eastern here on NBA TV. It was, of course, a career night for both Kawhi Leonard with his 45 and Pascal Siakam with his 28 in the absence of Kyle Lowry. Now, this was Siakam's 10th game this season with at least 20, and he joined us after the game. I want to talk about some of your highlights on your career high night, but I don't think that anything is going to top the little dance that you did before the game. That might be the highlight of the entire evening. Kind of feeling yourself these days, huh?
Hey, you know, New Year. You know, we got to start the New Year right.
Oh, you're strutting out there. Okay. All right, Pascal. All right.
Well, you certainly started it off right. How about this, though, Pascal? This is your 10th game this season with at least 20 points. You only had one such game in your first 2 years in the NBA. What is it that is about? Sorry, we're still watching the dance, and I love it. What is it, though, about your game that you feel has improved most?
I think, you know, just my ball handling, you know, being able to have the ball in my hands more and make plays for others. You know, it gave me opportunities to you know, drive lanes and find my teammates. You know, I think it kind of opened up the game for me a little bit.
When you talk about your offense and driving the basketball, talk a little bit about how much, you know, maybe Kawhi has helped you by being there, your relationship with Serge, the defensive prowess that the three of you have out on the floor. Defensively, it looks like you three can shut down any opponent anytime you want to. How does that feel out on the floor, being able to shut down opponents defensively, but yet also being able to turn it on offensively?
I think we pride ourselves on defense. You know, that's what that's the type of team we are. And obviously having Kawhi, you know, who's a great defensive player, a guy that you can learn from every day. His hands and the way he uses his length. I try to just learn from him, watch him a little bit, and then obviously Serge protecting the rim for us is big. And for me, it's just, you know, continue to work on defense because I know that's what got me here, and I know I'm going to keep, you know, just playing hard, trying to get stops, and everything else is going to come.
Pascal, just I watch you guys play. It seems like you got a little more spacing, a little more pace. Is your offensive sets a little different under Nick Nurse? And how does it fit you, the offense that Toronto's running now?
It's great for me. You know, I like to run, you know, and as soon as we get the ball, you know, we're running. And we have a lot of shooters on the team. Guys, you know, it opens up the floor for guys like me, Kawhi, driving. So it's great. I like the pace. You know, I like what Nick Nurse is doing.
Yeah. I got a question for you, and it's kind of off the beaten path here. You know, Serge has this cooking show. I put your head up now.
There we go.
and I just want to know, like, have you been over to the house to be served a meal?
Unfortunately, I was there one time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not really good at cooking, but I think he's funny though. He's funny, so it makes up for it.
Wait, how can he not be good at cooking and he's got a cooking show?
It's just a cooking show, not a good cooking show, right?
Yeah. He just got about like 3 ingredients. You know, it's always salt and pepper. The only thing he put in all the food, so it's definitely tough to eat.
Well, we're not mad at him. Personality saves most of our jobs as well. But Pascal, I've got to ask you before we go, because it's January now, because you have considered yourself an underrated player in the NBA, because February is next month. How big a motivator is perhaps an All-Star appearance?
I think obviously for me, a kid coming from Cameroon, you know, started basketball when he was 16 years old, you know, having a chance to even, you know, like just my name being out there is a blessing. And for me, I'm not really worried about that. You know, I just want to continue to get better. I know, you know, the sky's the limit for me, and I just want to continue to work hard. And, you know, whatever happens, happens.
Well, we'll worry about it for you, and we'll tell the fans to vote for you as well. I mean, come on. You got the opportunity right now. Pascal, thanks for joining us, and congrats on such a big night. And he can say that All-Star is not a motivator, but his game perhaps speaks otherwise. What's most impressive to you about the improvement that he's made?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, it's a similar sort of path that Kawhi Leonard traveled early in his career. Came into the league as a defensive player, has great length, and just has worked on his game. And in year 3 now has emerged as a reliable, trusted scorer, sort of guy who can do everything offensively and defensively for the Toronto Raptors. And this is important, particularly as Lowry has struggled a bit with his injury and he's out right now with a bad back. But Siakam has emerged as someone that they can count on, and that's huge. And he talked about in that interview, you know, learning from Kawhi, learning from him, watching how he uses his length and his hands and just all the little nuances to the game. And so a great example for him to have a guy who's, MVP in the finals, a guy who's, going to be in that conversation this year as a potential league MVP. But Siakam stepping up, and, you ask that question, it's conceivable. He might actually be an all-star. He's having that kind of season, and if Toronto can continue to be at the top and possibly, be at the top of the standings where they've been most of the time here thus far this season, he has a chance.
Well, it was also a career night for Kawhi Leonard with 45 points. So let's see how he did it. He was 16 of 19 from two-point land. He was also a perfect 8 for 8 in the restricted area. And you, Grant Hill, having perfected the mid-range game, seemed like the perfect person to ask to break down his night.
Yeah, perfected is right.
I felt like it was the right word.
No, but Kawhi Leonard, I love the diversity in shot making. He's not settling for just long jump shots. He's getting to the rim, as you talked about. He's attacking in transition. Of course, his mid-range game is on point, but he's constantly forcing the issue. You're having the defense stay on their heels. You have to guess sort of what you're going to do and how to stop him. And he got it going right there. He was efficient, as you talked about. But everything was moving forward with force, as you saw in that highlight package.
And we may not be talking enough about their defense because they're turning that high-powered defense into offensive opportunities.
No question. I mean, their defense is, I think, really one of the underrated parts of their game. And they have length, they have athleticism, they have trust out there on the floor, they have experience mixed in with youth. And you see right here, Greg Monroe plays this pick and roll perfect, and they secure the rebound and get out on the break where they're so talented. And right here, Anunoby just making the effort, getting the steal, leads to an easy basket in transition. You can't defend against that if you're Utah. Turn the ball over. And, of course, right here, once again, getting into the paint, active hands, Danny Green, and getting out in transition for the easy basket. And I love this play right here. Greg Monroe, big guy, contesting at the rim without fouling, forcing a tough shot. And once again, you're off to the races, starting the fast break, getting baskets in transition off your defense. A layup right here is one of the recipes for success for these Raptors.
Well, we can talk a lot about the Toronto Raptors, and it is, of course, warranted. But meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks are off to their best